personnel.
Steve just pulled up.
We're good. We'll have a brief reset. Let's keep this going.
No.
Okay, Steve is here. We've been dispensing with the Pledge of Allegiance. So we'll go right ahead into the Personnel Committee meeting. Commissioner Johns, do you want to take care of that?
Yeah, you can. Basically, I've been doing tons of research. I think that the major reason why my motion at 2 different meetings was denied is because of the city administrator position, and that the public works or director for street water and street and sewer and sanitation superintendent was eliminated. So I was looking through the ordinances, and it's nowhere written in there that that was removed, nor was the city administrator position added. So, then I went back and I found the minutes on where it was voted for or where the city auditor position changed from auditor to administrator. And it was back in February of 2013. Basically, at the end of that meeting, there was just a motion made to approve a personnel policy and job description adjustment. However, anytime you change a position, add a position, anything like that, it would need to be in the ordinance. And it's allowed through the home rule, however, ordinance needs to be there to back it up. So basically, it is perfectly, my motions to promote AJ to, well, the public works superintendent, if you group all of them together, was perfectly legal, and there's no reason not to do it. If you do look through the ordinances for Surrey, the city administrator, those two words together are only in the ordinance, 254 pages, twice. Basically, city auditor, in Article 5, Chapter 4, officers, there was just a slash added, city auditor / or city administrator, but there was no like reassignment of duties. So I did some more research, and like Lockton, who has actually a home rule charter attorney, like specifically designated to work on home rule charters, they did something similar to this. They took a city administrator and put them back to a city auditor though, but of course they have a ordinance doing this. So basically, anything done since February of 2013 involving a city administrator is null and void.
So can I ask you why you want to do this, Jen?
I want to promote the public works position.
But you're talking about city administrator and city auditor.
I'm just saying that it's non-existent in our city ordinances.
So the motion was made. But nothing was followed through with like a second reading on it, so
There wasn't even a first reading. There's nothing in the Surrey City ordinance that states that we have an administrator and lists the duties involved in that position. So it was just taken care of incorrectly back in 2013, February. I have the minutes here. In January, it was the city auditor position throughout the whole meeting. In February, halfway through, it changed from auditor to administrator, and then in March, it was administrator.
So basically, right now, then, you're looking at promoting AJ to public works.
I'm looking to follow the city ordinance and have somebody in charge of that department.
But in the home rule charter, wasn't there something brought up as far as that administrator was in charge of everything?
The home rule charter, even, just like when Brent was illegally removed, you needed and I did print out the There's like a webinar you can watch. There's like a webinar that you can watch, that was just done at the last North Dakota League of Cities convention, and, they explained that, the attorney explains in detail the home rule powers for a city. And there's three things involved when you have a home rule charter. First, it has to be granted in the North Dakota Central Code, which this would be. And then included in the home rule charter, which, the part about, terms and city officers and qualification, compensation, whatever, that's included. But then the third thing is that it needs to be implemented by ordinance. And that was never done.
We have a motion to, name AJ as the Public Works Director.
I'll make a motion to promote AJ Waller to Water, Street, Sewer, and Sanitation Superintendent for the city ordinance. I believe Public Works Director was used just to combine all of those terms to make it simpler.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Second by Brent. Any further discussion?
Yes, AJ, can you please come forward?
Just speak up and the mic fill it.
What are your feelings about the way things are running now for your guys' two positions versus being labeled the superintendent of streets, water, and sewer? Is it something that you feel, I want to know how you feel about how things are working now with the way the setup is, and because of the stuff that you've done, if you need a title until we get this figured out, or is it something that, because I'm definitely behind the raise part of things. Things are even messier tonight with what Jenny said for the ordinances than I thought they were. So I just want to get your input, since this is your position we're talking about.
In all honesty, I think things are running smooth. I've been trying to train John. He asks a lot of questions. I think that I helped him a lot as far as passing his test. And I guess the title is just a title. To me, it really doesn't mean anything other than things hit the fan. And for sure, it's that person that catches the run.
And do you have any issues with reporting to Diane as the way things are now?
That's what I believe. I report to her and I report to RTC. As I have every council member of Public Works.
But do any of them have higher qualifications than you do?
I guess I'd just like to mention, back in 2013, I wasn't here.
Actually, Steve, I'm sorry.
Was I not here?
No, it was Terry Johnson.
Yeah, I was on the council.
Yes.
Okay, the reason I think when we did this. Oh, what's wrong? Go ahead.
With the, having, AJ as the point person on Public Works, with phone calls go directly to him rather than going to, if somebody calls the office and says, fix my pothole, you just say, put it on hold and transfer it to AJ's phone, rather than having it go through the office.
Well, I believe there still could be messages taken, and then when he has or when the Public Works Department has a moment, then they're relayed to him, and he goes and looks and sees what needs to be done. I'm looking at big picture stuff. I'm looking at water tower, the cistern, water main break, anything at the lagoon, snow removal, crack sealing. I mean, there should be somebody who is in charge of all of those things.
But isn't that part of the position that he's in now, is that he does take care of that stuff? I manage a garage door company, but I don't know how to install a garage door. I've actually done it before, but if you put me in a truck, I'm not gonna be able to go do that by myself. And I deal with every single customer that it has to do with my knowledge of the product. Even though I'm not installing the garage doors, I have a boss to answer to as well, who owns the company. But all of those people under me answer to me.
1,000%. I'm just trying to follow the Surrey City ordinance at this point. Which, one of the officers is the water sewer street sanitation superintendent, just as there is a chief of police.
The part I never understood when this got reorganized is what we needed them for. What do we need a $70,000 administrator for, period? If he's the one that.
It isn't that much, Frank.
Pardon me?
It isn't that much.
68,
67 something.
5 points.
That's kind of off the subject.
Well, no, it's all the wax back to 2013. If we don't, why did we need, we did, I thought about this when I was on the council, it wasn't me, Steve, we talked about, you agreed with me, it wasn't me.
I don't know if I agree with you or anything about that, but I know you need somebody in charge of everybody down here. And that's my 20+ years of experience sitting on here. You need somebody in charge. Because there is no way that the mayor or anybody sitting on this council has enough time to come down here and literally see exactly what AJ's doing, or exactly what Kevin's doing, or exactly what anybody's doing. You need somebody in charge of all of it. At the end of the day, we're in charge of it, but we need a go-to person to just say, hey, what's going on in this department? And that person, whether it's Diana or whoever, is the person in charge. That is the administrator. Nothing we did back in 2013 was wrong, illegal, nothing like that. We had an attorney at the time who would have said if we needed an ordinance to do it, we would have done it. Everything has been correct.
How do we know if we were not in our ordinance?
It doesn't matter if it's in the ordinance or not. If it's in the home rule charter, that this is our chain of command, that's what it is.
I think everybody should watch a video on home rule charter that explains what it actually is.
You know, when Mayor Strand was sitting up here, and we discussed all this, and when I pushed it should be a public works director or superintendent, then who they should go to is to the commission. And then they bring it to the council if it's something that needs to be addressed, if it's money issues, if it's whatever else. And even the mayor agreed, he said he would help with it also, and it should go to the commissioners. We don't need to pay some high dollar person when we have each department should be able to take care of their own. And then they still work together. If it's with the auditors, if it's with whatever.
So are you
I've
saying,
never
what are
agreed
you
with-
saying, Fred? You don't even have a person. I was hired at this rate.
And I never agreed with
Well,
the whole works. I never agreed with
But
the
I
administrator
was
position.
hired at that rate.
But see, I'm not
So
sure why
your plan is to reduce my pay?
it isn't.
Make
reduce your
this
pay.
go through and
We
reduce my
don't
pay?
need an administrator, period.
But tell me what that means. Tell me what the rest of that means.
Then
because
we
you
either
broke
should have an auditor, deputy auditor, and a part-time.
Does my pay get decreased? Is that what you're proposing?
It isn't about your pay or you, period. It's the administrator position shouldn't be there.
Yeah,
It should be.
I would like,
dissolved and
I would
restructured.
like a yes or no. Does that mean
It
you're
should be
thinking
restructured.
yes
the
or no?
whole position.
yes or no?
On what? Your pay?
Are you
I'm
looking
not
to
talking
decrease my
about
pay?
your pay, I'm talking about your position. The administrator position.
And I don't know why it has to be changed because no matter what you think, I am doing my job. I absolutely am. Take a vote, take a vote.
I think
I never said you were doing your job either.
You said
I
it
said we
several
do it
times.
on need.
Chuck, that's
You
another
said
way
it
to go
several
about it.
times.
need to, I guess, to me, it's just semantics and removing a title. Not changing anybody's wages or anything else, it's just the title. We have a motion on the floor for, promoting, or changing the title of, AJ to public sewer and streets and whatever. Yeah, he said,
Jenny, would you say that again, because that isn't exactly what you said, water, sewer?
Yeah, it's, well, it's listed in here under several different articles, 12, 13, 14. Superintendent of streets, water, sewer, and sanitation. Please.
Can I ask the attorney one question? So as far as since it is not in our ordinances, is it legal? They can make a motion and put someone in whatever position and then, like, 7, 8 years down the road.
You're asking me to comment on whether or not a former action of the city is lawful or unlawful. I'm not gonna do that.
And I never said it was illegal. I said it was not properly executed.
And yet we all know how messed up the ordinance book is. We don't know what's up or down, but if we have the right copy.
It hasn't been updated in years.
Do we not have an ordinance committee at some point that would?
We've tried numerous committees.
We have an ordinance committee. The problem is that one of our members of that committee, that does a very good job, has not been available for months.
Who's home now, so.
I just want to make one comment. Things are working great the way they are right now. They all get along. They are all working together for the betterment of this city. I don't see any purpose of changing it. I'm not opposed to giving AJ an increase for the excellent work that he has done, but I'm totally against the title for that, because I think in the end, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Diane's position is gonna be next on the chopping block.
I guess, I mean, if you're insinuating that I said something like that, I did not.
I'm not
I'm
insinuating
just,
anything.
I'm just following the city ordinances, and this is what is in here. I have it in front of me. Once again,
Ever since we went back to this and it was discussed to reorganize like you guys did.
It was changed in 2019, when all this started with Jenny. That's when this was all changed,
Exactly.
because the purpose of was it to get rid of her position at the time.
I know, I was sitting.
Well,
The part that I never agreed with though, is why do you not have, the chief of police takes care of his department. Public works should be able to take care of their department. And then you have an auditor, they take care of their department, deputy auditor, clerk, however it gets set up. I do not understand, and what I said was, so you're gonna have to hire somebody that has either the degrees to be more qualified than the chief of police, more than somebody in the public works. You don't have that.
But Brent, just like I said, no, in my opinion, in the majority of every person that's sitting up here, their jobs, it's the same thing.
okay, we have a motion on the floor and we've had enough discussion. Motion was by Jenny, roll call vote, Jenny,
yes,
Brent,
Yes.
Twyla,
no,
Mike,
No.
Steve,
No,
and Elaine.
No,
okay, just for the record, the ordinance for both of those positions would need to be updated.
then let's do that.
that's what I've got right here is, that will be something that I will get a hold of my ordinance committee so that we can get working on that, because that needs to be straightened out sooner, very sooner than later.
Can't you get somebody to fill in that position that isn't being filled in now? Instead of writing this out.
Right, just let me make some calls and I'll get stuff figured out by the next council meeting of where we're gonna be at, okay?
She just got released this afternoon.
That's what I heard. If,
Maybe she could use my phone.
well, if she's not up to it yet, then we might have to look at subbing somebody in for a little while, but to just help us out, kind of a thing, so.
And that's for your ordinance.
Yes.
I think I talked to a number of retired people in town that would have the daytime hours to work on it. Don't recall one of their names right now, but if I can remember, I'll get a hold of them. Moving on, the approval of the year-end financials. And that would be Diane's.
This is what gets published in the paper and council needs to distribute it and approve it before it can go in the paper.
And this includes all the transfers that we approved at the last meeting, correct?
Okay, Chair, entertain a motion to approve the financials.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials as
Motion
presented.
by Elaine,
I'll second it.
second by Cornell. Any further discussion? Mike?
Looked at this and it seems like we're short on two hands and their reasoning behind
Yeah, I think we talked about that before, no? The problems that,
that. Oh, okay,
Pending
I got you.
It's something that, when Diane and I met too with Eric Ungum,
That has something to do with being certain, how do I put this, certain, hang on. Properties being a couple years behind.
Any further discussion?
Don't we still owe Mr. Ungren like $80,000 or $90,000 too?
yes, that is part of, I got a lot of background on it, so I understand it a lot better now. This thing is supposed to perform more towards the end than now. And again, Derek coming to that one meeting when I wasn't even up here yet, just has to do with that. He wants us to remember what's going on with it.
And did you ever find out if like funds were used from that were not supposed to be?
I believe we're off topic.
We're talking about the TIF district.
We could have an entire meeting about the TIF district.
Let's talk about the year-end report.
Sounds like we need to.
I can, I'll get that together.
Any further discussion? We'll have a roll call. Elaine,
Yes.
Twyla,
Yeah,
Mike,
Yes.
Brent. Steve.
Yep.
And Jennifer.
Yep.
Motion passed. Now we're going into executive session. The next item on the agenda is attorney consultation regarding attorney consultation. An update on Department of Labor regarding human rights complaint 440419 1 or 2. This item must be discussed in executive session. The legal authority for closing this portion of the meeting is North Dakota Century Codes 440419 1 and 2. The topic of this executive session is attorney consultation regarding an update on the Department of Labor regarding human rights complaints. At this time, a motion would be in order to discuss the next topic in executive session rather than an open meeting. Is there such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Elaine,
I'll second it.
second by Twyla with one. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Elaine,
Yes.
Twyla,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Brent, and Mike.
Yes.
Motion carried. Executive session will be recorded, and all members of the government body are reminded to limit their discussion during the executive session to the announced topic. Any collective decision, written, or other final action by the government body must occur after it reconvenes in an open whereas final action is specifically required by law to be taken during the executive session. The prohibition on taking final action during the executive session does not apply to providing guidance or instruction to our attorney. We will now ask the members of the public who are attending the meeting to leave the room. Immediately after adjourn during the executive session, we will reconvene the open portion of the meeting. The minutes will show the executive session began at 5:56 p.m. 5:56 p.m. was attended by all council members and attorney,